Welcome to Pop Culture Conversations. Today we are discussing Jim Carrey movies and their cultural social impact, um, especially in terms of the imperialist mind control, uh, such as the transphobia, anti-blackness, cultural appropriation, misogyny, enabling and coddling men, such things. All right. What I wanted to do was watch or rewatch Jim Carrey movies, like go on a Jim Carrey movie marathon, but I didn't really have time for it. I only ended up watching two movies, and that was enough for me because it wasn't just a lack of time, it was also after watching those two movies, which were his very first two out of three breakout movies, I really felt like that was enough. It really put me off more of his movies. You know, plus I had to watch what was available, right? I didn't want to pay for it. So I already own a DVD of The Mask, and I own a DVD of Yes Man, so I'll watch that sometime later. And on Peacock, I think it was Peacock, both the Cable Guy was free. I didn't watch that. I watched Ace Ventura, Pet Detective. That was his very first movie, and that was all that was available, uh, as far as I know. And yeah, so it's really interesting because Jim Carrey started off his career with a breakout role in three movies in the same year that were hits. Uh, Hits in terms of box office profits, not necessarily sales. Uh, for example, his very first breakout movie, Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, it was released in, I think, April 1994. It on a budget of only $15 million, and it made $100 million, 6 times, 6.5 times the amount. And then people loved it so much, they rewarded this movie despite the transphobia and anti-blackness in it, that they rewarded him with even more money, even more movie ticket sales, even more viewership and attention, right? Because his next movie, The Mask, made 3 times that amount. It made $350 million, right? Hi, AJ, the artist. You are joining Pop Culture Conversations, where we analyze and debunk the imperialist propaganda in pop culture. You are welcome to request and share a poem too if you want to. But it is a podcast first and an open mic second. So, yeah. The moment I said podcast first, open mic second, he left. That's okay. And what else? Also, you have The Mask, which came out in July, made $350 million. And then in December, Dumb and Dumber came out and made $247 million. So collectively, he made almost $700 million. So almost like $1 billion. In fact, I researched how much money his movies collectively made over the years, in the 2 or 3 decades of his. Just the box office theatrical sales alone, he made about $6 billion. I think $6 to $7 billion. About the same amount that Christopher Nolan's movies have made, which we talked about last time. And which is just effing incredible and ridiculous. They're not even funny, his movies. It shows like where the masses are at, the mindset of people. And then they complain about the system, meanwhile perpetuating the system. It's like, what the hell? You are the system. Now you complain about the system, but you don't hold yourself accountable for your role in perpetuating it. So there are 2 ways I analyze movies, right? Well, 3 ways, I guess. The first is you have to analyze it not only at the level of the plot, but also at the level of the scriptwriters. Because everything that happens in the movie or TV show happened because the scriptwriters wanted it to happen. So, for example, if there is pedophilia in the movie or TV show, the scriptwriters can make you justify it by having convoluted plots. But the point is, someone wrote pedophilia or pedophilia adjacent stuff into the movie. Okay? Like The Time Traveler's Wife, some convoluted plot about time travel, where a grown-ass man went back in time to meet his wife when she was only a 6-year-old girl, and he kept meeting her and basically grooming her to the point that when she's an adult and he's a grown man, his past self had not met her yet, but because his future self had already met her and groomed her, she was already in love with him. That's literally grooming. So that's an example of, you can justify it all you want at the level of the plot, but the point is, whoever wrote it because they wanted that in the movie. Okay. Same thing with The Young Sheldon, where you have a 29-year-old committing statutory rape on a 17-year-old, right? And you can justify it at the level of the plot because people will try to justify by saying, oh, but they both lied. He lied that he was 21 and she lied that he was 25. Why the fuck did she lie in the first place? A 17-year-old is a kid, is a dumbass, but you're an adult, right? So even at the level of the plot, it's ridiculous. But the point is, the scriptwriters wrote a storyline where there's pedophilia. They wanted pedophilia in the story. And they wanted it to be acceptable, so they put this bullshit plot line, right? So anyways, I'm giving those examples just to show you like how I analyze movies and books, right? The second way I analyze is the year it was released and what was happening in the world, and how does the movie either contribute or reinforce what's happening, contribute to or reinforce what's happening, or distract away from it, and vice versa. How is what is happening in the world influence the movies? So remember, 1994 was 2 years after the LA Rodney King riots, and second, 1994 was the end of apartheid in South Africa, and third, It's also when the Rwandan genocide happened, and that genocide, France, Belgium, and the United States are totally responsible for it. It was a totally unnecessary thing. It happened because the Belgians had created literally 2 fake races that didn't even exist. They made up those races and then divided them between each other for decades. And then France continued to meddle and amplify those divisions, and the United States remained silent and may or may not have provided weapons to one side or the other, and distracted you from that. So distraction in this case is how the role it played in your cultural consciousness. And the third is the actual imperialist propaganda in the movies, which is what I wanted to talk about today. Starting with Ace Ventura, Pet Detective. It is literally transphobic propaganda where a trans person, a trans woman, is portrayed as somebody who is mentally ill. So implying that transphobia is a form of mental illness, which is something that a lot of people, like being trans is a form of mental illness, that some people still believe even to this day. Hi Devin, you said what Jim Carrey? I'm not sure what your question is. But anyways, and what else? Yeah, because the villain is a male athlete who ended up being in an insane asylum, escaped, took the identity of a female missing hiker who was, I guess, never found, and somehow she not only joined the police force but became the chief cop in the police station, and so she's a trans woman now. And apparently it looks like she even had surgery, had long hair, was not wearing a wig, had boobs, so yeah. So the villain is literally a trans person, which is classic, and also someone that they made a mockery of, right, at the end of the movie. Because remember, this within the context of a comedy movie. This movie wouldn't fly today. And this was just 30 years ago. And then the anti-blackness. I don't even know how to describe this bullshit thing that happened in the movie. But my God, it's like, what the hell? There's a whole scene. And mind you, this is happening in the middle of a police station. If this is how a black man is treated by a fellow cop, and both of them are cops, the black man himself is a cop, this is happening right in the middle of a police station. Imagine how much worse it is for regular black folks, even in the movie world, right? In this movie, where you have the white man, Jim Carrey, literally sexually harassing his black male co-worker, where basically that's what it is. And it's framed as a harmless joke, where he turns around and bangs his ass in front of his face and spreads his butt cheeks apart and keeps squeezing it, spreading it and closing it, and pretending that his butthole is talking to him. And that's supposed to be funny. What the fuck? What the hell is this? I'm gonna make a reel about this where I show a clip of it so you know exactly what I'm talking about. Okay? Yeah. And then The Mask. The Mask portrays a robber, and this is a classic trope, that the poor thief is actually a nice guy on the inside, but is only robbing a bank because he's poor and desperate. is the classic, very classist idea that people steal because they're poor. And in this case, he's not even poor, he's actually middle class. He's just desperate to get a girl. And he couldn't get into a club because he wasn't on the same status as the club owners. So when he wins, he gets the superpower through the mask. He robs a bank and uses the money to rent a huge-ass limousine and be well-dressed so he could get into the club. And you're supposed to root for him. You're supposed to accept that he robbed a bank for that reason, because he's a poor victim, because he's a white guy. And you're supposed to see white people as victims, especially white guys, no matter what. That's what that is. That's what it brainwashes you with. And since it was released in 1994, I would imagine that people born in the 80s and 70s watched that movie, right? People in the 80s would be in their teenage years. People in the 70s would have been in their 20s. People in their 60s, people born in the 60s would have been in their 30s, right? And these people would now be in their 40s, 50s, and 60s, meaning they would have a lot of power and privilege over us right now. They would probably be judges, mid-level managers, supervisors, bosses. And they were brainwashed with this movie, with white supremacy. And then not just one, but two white women end up falling with him, in love with him, and they're both like, oh, you are so bad, but I see the nice guy in you. That's literally the trope. This perpetuates the trope of white women always justifying white men, no matter what they do. And they continue to do that, even to this day. That's what this movie. And don't even get me started on the cultural appropriation or disrespect, where culture is reduced to an ancient relic that is at best dangerous and makes you do things you don't want to do and gets you in trouble, like robbing a bank, and at the end he throws away the mask back into the ocean because it's too dangerous, instead of returning it to the proper culture it comes from, which in this case, according to the movie, is from a Norse god, is the mask of the Norse god Loki, the god of mischief. So instead of returning it to Norwegians, for example, and trying to find out from them, and it might not even be true, it might not even be Loki. That's just somewhat one doctor told him, and he didn't even get a second opinion. That scene with the doctor is just for us, the audience, to justify it for us. There's no real accountability or sincerity to know from where this mask actually comes from, the culture it comes from. And he only wanted to know for his own selfish reasons, because he felt like he was out of control, that this is such a new experience, that he does these weird things whenever he wears it at night, and it only works at night, it turns out, and he forgets what happened in the morning. And because of that, it's not his fault, right? According to the movie. Again, level of the plot versus the script writers. And you're supposed to see him as a good person, despite all that. Even though somebody who actually gives a shit about people would have tried to find out where this ancient relic is from, where this mask is from. So anyways, that's pretty much the episode for tonight. Peace and love. I mean, that's all I watched, so I don't have much to say other than that, and other than like I only watched those two movies, and I would imagine Yes Man is also very misogynist. I would imagine the rest of his movies are probably the same attitude, perpetuating the same things over a period of 2 decades, basically, right? Uh, let's see when Yes Man was released. I think it was one of his later movies. Can't even see the date here. But yeah, I think this was in the 2000s or 2010s. Because when I said his movies made $6 billion, that's just from the theatrical sales. It doesn't include, his royalty money or the money from DVD sales, home viewing, cable, syndicate movie reruns on, cable networks, all of that, right? It's like people are voting with their dollars for more movies like that to be released. That's what they did for a period of 20 years. The more I analyze pop culture, whether it's Jim Carrey or Nolan, and how popular these ridiculous white guys are, these extremely racist, imperialist, misogynist, transphobic, queerphobic people, and how millions of people just keep supporting them and keep watching their movies, and then they wonder why everything is shit. They wonder why we don't have healthcare. They wonder why we keep going to fight unnecessary wars. They don't take any responsibility. That's what pisses me off, really. That's why I mentioned the $6 billion, right? That money could have gone to help a lot of poor people. It could have gone to help actually change the system, actually build community gardens, for example. We have a community garden in our local neighborhood. Imagine a whole network of community gardens. Oh, hi Devin. You're finally here. Okay.
What's up?
What's up?
So, three things.
Yeah.
One, was it? Were you saying that Jim Carrey was grooming someone?
No, I was talking about a movie, and it's a different movie. It's not a Jim Carrey movie. I was talking
Okay.
about that movie as an example of a point I was trying to make. The point I was trying to make is that I always analyze movies at 4 different levels.
Right.
And the first two are especially important. I analyze it at both the level of the plot and the level of the script writers, right?
Right.
Meaning that everything that happened in the movie happened because the script writers wanted it to happen, right? The reason
Right.
why I do it that way is because people will always justify bullshit. There's always somebody who will
Yeah.
justify ridiculous bullshit that's completely unacceptable because they're analyzing it at the level of the plot, right? So I gave
Yeah.
the example of the time traveler's wife. Have you seen that movie?
The what?
It's called The Time Traveler's Wife.
No, I haven't.
So in that, it's a time travel movie where this guy, when he's older, right, and
Yeah.
already married to his wife for about, I think, 10, 20 years or something, uh, he is he has a condition, a genetic condition called chrono something, where he keeps being sent back in time to different events of his, and and they're often events that are important to him, uh, and according to the movie, right? This is how they're justifying it. And in one of those events that he keeps going back to is he goes back to uh, his wife when she was just a 6 year old girl.
Oh, okay, okay.
And then the first time he goes back that he's naked and
Yeah.
and well he has like a little blanket around him but he's like naked inside and he actually reveals to the little girl that he is naked, right?
God
And
damn.
so and then and then he tells the little girl like this might keep happening so next time can you bring me some clothes when
Mm.
you're out in the park again, you know, when you're out here by yourself. And for some reason this little girl is out in the meadows by herself that I don't understand why
Whoa, 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 wait.
always.
Whoa, whoa, wait. Is this his wife when he was young?
Yeah, this is his wife when she was 6 years old, right? That's
Okay,
how they're
so she
justifying it,
lives. So she
right?
lives out. Okay.
He lives out in the rural areas, I guess. So, uh, but he keeps going back in time to not only when she was six, then, you know, like he keeps coming back as she's growing up, you know. So this is grooming. There's literally grooming, okay?
Right.
And and then when she gets older, uh, the the younger version of him, the version of him that has never traveled back in time and never met her, right? Meets her who has already seen him and talked to him many times over the years. So she instantly falls in love with him. But he doesn't even recognize her because he had not met her yet. Because it's the older version of him that had met
Yeah.
her, that kept going back in time, right? And so that's how they justify it and saying, oh, that's why she instantly fell in love. No, it's because you've been grooming her your whole life. And but they're justifying by using this convoluted plot. Oh, he didn't have a choice. This is his genetic condition. He didn't have a choice as to when he went back. But no, at the level of the plot, yes. But at the level of the scriptwriters wanted pedophilia and grooming in the movie. That's why they did it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know. You know. It's
yeah.
funny. It's funny. That's basically the same excuse of of people with autism doing bad behavior. Oh, I have
Mm,
autism. I didn't mean to shoot up the people. I didn't mean to throw grease at the cashier. I was just autistic. Express.
exactly.
Yep.
Hmm.
And I'd be damned and surprised if someone made a movie about that. Anyway, um,
Exactly.
but
So,
that movie sounds more like the Butterfly Effect.
oh, I haven't seen that. No.
Uh, I would
That's
recommend
about the
it. I would.
That's more dark, right? It's like chaos theory, based on chaos theory and stuff.
I'm not even gonna tell you. I'm just gonna say I would.
Yeah.
I would somewhat recommend it, but you better be prepared,
Okay. Yeah.
and then you'll probably see the similarity. Anyway,
Hmm.
uh, topic two. Um, I tried calling you um the day when I was on my walk because you asked me if I watched any Jim Carrey movies.
Oh, okay. I didn't get your call.
Yeah.
Uh,
Um, partly yes, but I wasn't really much of a Jim Carrey kind of.
okay.
I mean, I watched bits of Ace Ventura, bits of The Mask,
Mm.
and they weren't really my favorite movie. And
Bits? You mean you watch like clips from it, like on YouTube?
no, I watched actual scenes from it, but I was mostly doing 8, 7, 9 year old stuff. I didn't really pay
Or you
attention
were
to
just
all.
walking in and out of the room as the movie was playing? Like,
Yeah,
okay.
and
Yeah.
then when the Grinch came,
Hmm.
um, I did watch it. I have to say, I did not like it that much, and to this day, I don't like it, but I like make fun of it.
Hmm.
All right, and
Okay, I'm
last
gonna
but
look up something. When was the last Jim Carrey movie? I'm gonna look this up because I want to know how long his cultural impact has been, right?
it
Uh,
it must be the Sonic 3.
okay,
That
that
must
was 2024. He was just voice acting there though, right? Was
no.
he, did he actually star in it?
he played the villain, Doctor Eggman Robotics,
Oh,
and
okay.
he played the daddy too.
Sonic the Hedgehog 3, December 2024. Oh, that's pretty recent. So he
Yeah.
started in 1994, so that's 30 years of cultural impact. So this whole time, then. Okay.
Funny
Uh,
thing, funny thing
yeah,
about Jim Carrey.
yeah.
Um, he was in one of the '90s Night Live, and he did a parody of a famous rap song called Informer, but
Mm,
his version was called Imposter. It was funny.
mm,
Yeah.
okay.
And last but certainly not least, you were talking about young Sheldon. Now,
Mm,
I I frankly know the episode you're talking about, but it's the one where the party it's the party, right, where Sheldon's trying to look for someone and then interrupts the party, telling his sister, your best friend's missing, and then they find the best friend with
no, no, it's not that one.
no?
This is a different. This is much later. This is actually they met at the laundromat. The laundromat that, by the way, his grandma owns, his Mimo owns.
Okay.
And then his Mimo has a secret illegal gambling
Okay.
store at the
I
back. At
I
the back.
heard about that. I heard
Yeah.
about that. I
And
so
and then this 29-year-old woman is the woman he actually ends up marrying because he ended up having a baby with her.
what
Nick, Nick.
who marries Mima or the
No, no,
grandma?
no, not the grandma. The Georgie,
Oh,
Sheldon's older brother, who was 17
oh,
at the time.
oh, yeah, yeah, yeah,
He
yeah,
met
yeah,
this
yeah.
29-year-old older woman
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah.
and they end up dating and they have a baby. And he ends up being marrying her because they had a baby.
Yeah. Well, don't get me wrong. I
Yeah.
mean, yes, yes. It's kind of strange and kind of out there to have an episode on that. But here's a good thing though about that episode. Unlike most men would have just left the girl pregnant. Georgie was man enough to stay with her, regardless of the age gap. I'm not saying it was right, but what I'm saying is that unlike most guys, they would have just left her behind. Not Georgie. He would actually own up to being a man.
Yeah. I mean, he almost left. I mean, there's the thing about, mind control programming, right? They always uh, mix the good with the bad, and they have to because
Yeah,
they need something to justify it. Because otherwise, your mind cannot accept it at all. If it's totally like bad, 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 then you will totally deny it, right? Uh, and this is why even here, even with the main plot, and there's a concept called teasing the edge. Have you heard of that? Uh,
no,
is this is literally teasing the edge where they will get very close to what is unacceptable, but not quite, right?
right,
And they're pushing your boundaries, basically, right? Pushing what's acceptable, right? And like it's very close to being 100% unacceptable. In my opinion, it is not even. In my opinion, it's totally 100% unacceptable, right? But in most people's mind, because they're so brainwashed, they for them it feels more like teasing the edge because it's like it hits very close because he is 17, meaning he's almost 18, so almost legal, right?
right.
Um, and then he's 29, not 30, right? So,
Yeah,
so both ways, if the plot said he was 30, you won't accept it at all. You will
yeah,
deny it. Same thing with um, if he was 18, then it defeats the purpose because then you'll be like, oh, it's no big deal. He is of legal age, right? Uh,
yeah,
but no, they wanted a teenager who is not legal at all, but barely legal So you almost accept. You're like, okay, he's almost 18 anyways. You accept it, right? That's what I
Yeah.
mean by teasing the edge, right?
Right.
And in my opinion, even 18 is not acceptable because the human brain doesn't even fully develop until around age 25 or 26, right?
I agree.
Like, so, and then you have the real justification is they both lied about their age. He lied that he's 21. She lied that she was 25. So now it's just a 4 year age gap, right? But
Yeah.
even then, like, even at the level of the plot is ridiculous because two things. First of all, you're fucking 29. Can you not tell a kid from a 21-year-old? There's a huge difference between a 17 and
Right.
a 21-year-old. Okay. And second, is a kid who is 17 is a dumbass and he's gonna lie. But you are a grown ass 29-year-old adult. Why the fuck are you lying? Right? The
Right.
bigger responsibility is with you, the adult, who is 29. So you're even way past that 26 mark that I was talking about. Your prefrontal cortex, your reasoning brain is fully developed. Your whole brain is fully developed. It's been 3 years since your brain is fully developed, and you still chose to lie, right?
Yeah. No, I get it. I get
Yeah,
it. It's funny
yeah.
since we're talking about ages.
Hmm.
How do you feel or justify about actors that that look like they're teenagers but they're actually in their 30s? For example,
Mm.
the the main kid that was in the Cry Kid. Apparently, he was in his 30s. Hannah Montana's brother, he was actually in his 30s, but he passed. He passed being like a teenager. How you feel about that?
I mean, that's just people looking young, and but I feel like even like people have baby faces, but like you can still tell the difference between a 30-year-old and a teenager. Like it's just vibes, right? Like
Right,
I look 10 years younger, like because and it's not just because of my face, it's because I'm short. I'm 4'11", right? So when you
right,
see me in person, most people think I'm 34, even though, or even 32, even though I'm actually like, 44, right? And but even no one tells me I look like a teenager. Like that would be five facts,
Wait,
right?
so you're
Eh,
actually 44?
yeah,
Well, first off,
yeah.
that's my lucky number, so congratulations. And and secondly, I did not even think I thought you were either 30 or 20, somewhere around there.
Exactly. See, that's what I mean. Like, so, so even me, right?
That
Uh,
that's okay. If you were to meet me in real life, you would think I'm still a high schooler kid.
yeah, yeah. That's why I have to be careful when like
Yeah.
people in their or women in their 20s have a crush on me, and I'm like, do you know how old I am? Like, I don't think I'm for you. Like,
Well, especially women nowadays,
yeah.
cause they may have a crush on you, they may be all puppy and all that,
Hmm.
but if you don't like partake in their thing or don't be all consensual about it, then they'll be
Yeah.
like, oh well, hey, I'm gonna go on this video. This guy did this to me and blah blah blah. I'm part of the Me Too movement. That's why. That's why I don't date anymore.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You're in your 40s too, right? Oh, you're in your 30s. 30s?
Fuck no. I'm
No,
I'm I'm getting to my 40s, but no, I'm 35 actually,
35. Okay, yeah.
and I
Hmm.
just an hour ago, I just discovered that a beloved actress just died at the age of 36.
Hmm.
Um, God, I don't know her name, but she was in On, Bring It On Again, All for Nothing, and
Oh, Was it Cameron Diaz or is it Julia Stiles?
No, her name was Peyton, and she was in that one show, Heroes, where five unexpected strangers have like superpowers.
Mm-hmm.
She played cheerleader.
Mm-hmm.
Just look up cheerleader from the show Heroes. It'll show her.
Oh yeah, yeah. I know who you're talking about. I forgot her name, but yeah, yeah, I know.
I can't
Yeah,
pronounce it. Yeah,
yeah, but yeah,
and it just
yeah.
made me realize something though. I'm near my 36, and what's sad is that I had a teacher that was in her 30s. She passed away from cancer.
Mm,
I was always sad, and then I found out that maybe it was true, maybe it was not, but I found out that my favorite wrestler, Eddie Guerrero, died in his 30s. And I'll
mm,
be honest, I was scared in my 30s. Cause like, well, what the fuck, man? Why are people dying in their 30s?
mm-hmm. Yeah.
50s, 60s, 70s,
Even
maybe.
what's his name? Chad Boseman, the guy who played Black Panther. He died
Yeah,
young too, right? Was he in his 30s when he died?
I think so. Maybe, maybe in maybe in his 40s. No,
Yeah.
he was probably still 30. But yeah,
Or let's see, 40. He was 44 when he died. He was my age, 44 when he died. Oh,
goddamn.
actually, not even 44. He hadn't reached his 44th birthday yet. He was almost 44. He was 43 years and in like 9 months, something like that. Or yeah, 43 years and 9 months. So, uh, yeah, that's pretty young.
Yeah,
Uh, so the character's name is Claire Bennett, and it was played by Hayden Panettiere or Paintier. I think she must be French. Like that's a French name.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I thought it was Eastern Russian. But no,
yeah, it could be too.
if it was Eastern Russian, it would have like some an Oski or a Ruka fish or some sort of
Right.
fish in it.
Yeah,
But no, it could be
yeah.
French.
Okay, so I'm looking up how many of Jim Carrey, which of his Jim Carrey movies made the most money. So at the top, Sonic the Hedgehog 3 made the most money at $492.1 million. And then number two is Bruce Almighty at 484.6 million. Then Sonic the Hedgehog 2 at number three, 405.4 million. And that was released 2022. So yeah. And then The Mask, which was his like second movie that ever came out, released 1994, made 351.5 million. And the 2000 release, How the Grinch Stole Christmas, made 350.4 million. So it's
Nice.
it's because I know collectively his movies made like $6 billion over time. Uh, and in fact, I think after the first three movies, his salary went from like I think 1 million to, or even not even 1 million, like a few. Usually, actors start very low their salary, I think. But
Yeah,
after those first three movies came out, his salary went all the way to 20 million per movie and upfront.
yeah.
Uh,
I I tell you this though. If I started making some of my books into movies,
mhm.
and you happen to watch all of them, you would be my biggest critic. No, I'm
Probably.
telling, because I always said this though. If my movies for any of my movies, I either want them on cinema. Oh God, what was that? cinema or IFC, and I want them to be either N17
Mm-hmm.
or around that range.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so this is how his salary went up. So Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, that was his very first movie. That's the one that I was critiquing earlier. I don't know if you heard it or if you were here. Wait,
Uh,
did you hear it?
I was young when some Jim Carrey's
Okay.
movies were.
Did you hear me critiquing it when I was talking about the transphobia and the racism, the anti-blackness?
Well, hold on. Was it was it was it on the day I was walking, or was it
No, no, no,
this?
just now, today.
Okay, then no, I wasn't.
Okay, I will repeat myself later. So his very first movie, his salary in 1994 for Ace Ventura, Pet Detective was $350,000. And the movie was on a budget of $15 million and it made $100 million. So it made 6 times the amount. And so his salary went up. For The Mask, it went up to $540,000. The Mask came out just a few months later, the same year. And because that one did so well, it made 3.5 times Ace Ventura. It made $350 million, right? And because that made so much money, by the time Dumb and Dumber came out in December, right, his salary went all the way up to $7 million,
Sure.
right?
Um.
And then
Go ahead.
Batman Forever came out in 1995, the next year. His salary went down to $5 million for some reason. Uh, and then Ace Ventura When Nature Calls the same year, 1995. So he had 2 movies the same year. Oh my God! So he had like 5 movies back to back in 2 years. That's wild. Like, and then Cable Guy came out in 1996. So Ace Ventura When Nature Calls 1995. When that came out, his salary went up to $15 million, 3 times. And then the Cable Guy 1996. His salary went up all the way to $20 million,
Sure.
and he was paid upfront before he acted in the movie.
Sure. But you know
So
what?
yeah,
It amazed me that when that he did a fun tour, but he was also doing the mask. So I have to know how his schedule was. Maybe he did one scene and then he rested a little bit and then went to do.
right. That's what I'm saying. Like he had 3 movies in the same year, and then the next year he had 2 movies in the same year. So that's 5 movies in 2 years. You
Shit.
know, that is a very busy schedule. Like,
Hey,
and
if we ever meet Jim Carrey, we should ask him that.
yeah. So the point I was making, the reason why I'm telling you all this is because, like, there is so much imperialist propaganda, a lot of bigotry and nonsense, even in those first 3 movies, right? But
Right.
instead of being punished for it or being called out, he was rewarded with even more money, success, fame, and the box office success of his movies. His movies themselves made so much money, and therefore he himself made so much money because his value went up because people, executives are like, oh, why if we have this actor, the movie's going to do well, right? Which is why his salary went up. So this is the because I've seen the same thing with Christopher Nolan. His movies over time has also made $7 billion, like collectively over a period of 30
Yeah.
years. And in fact, uh, The Odyssey, his latest movie, uh, just surpassed the Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises.
Damn.
Because before this, The Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises were his highest grossing movies at
Yeah.
over $1 billion. And in fact, The Dark Knight was the highest grossing film of the whole year, right? In
Because
2008.
of Heath Ledger, unfortunately.
Exactly. Yeah. And now The Odyssey also crossed $1 billion, but it's made even more than both the Dark Knight movies, right? And this is despite the fact that Western Sahara, colonized Africans are calling for a boycott. And as a Hindu, I'm calling for a boycott too because they did their world premiere in Mumbai in India, which they have no business doing. So this is what I
Yeah.
mean. People complain about the system, right? Yet they keep doing these things that perpetuate the system. And I'm like, dude, you're complaining about the system, but you are the system. It's
Yeah.
you, you know. So,
So you go ahead.
okay. So back to Ace Ventura, Pet Detective. The reason why I'm so mad is two reasons. The first one is the transphobia, where the villain is literally uh, a male athlete who was very successful, uh, but ended up losing a game and losing his career, and then going crazy, and then being sent to the mental asylum, the mental jail, lunatic asylum, mental hospital,
Yeah, I
and
know.
so, but he escaped, and then he took on the identity of a missing female hiker
Okay.
named Lois, and the movie's so impossible plot, right? He not only takes on this identity, right, to the point that he had surgery, he looks like a
Yeah.
woman, so she is a woman now. But not only that, she joins the police force now and becomes the chief police. Like how? Like, you know, and she's the villain now. So the trans character is the villain, and the trans character is mentally ill. So it perpetuates the idea that people have even today that being trans is a form of mental illness, you know,
Right.
which is very transphobic. So there's transphobia, and then there's also anti-blackness, where, mind you, Jim Carrey's character is technically a cop. Like he's a pet detective, but he works in an actual police station, right?
Yeah.
And then he has a black male co-worker who's an actual cop, who fights actual crime with humans, not animals, right?
Yeah.
And so in the middle of a police station, the black man himself is a cop, and this white man is a cop, and he's sexually harassing the black male cop in the middle of a
Ah.
police station. Like, what do you do when a cop is sexually harassing you and you're the cop yourself? It
Right.
shows, like, it's telling you, is communicating to the white people, you have this much power, and it's communicating to black people, you have so little power and we don't give a shit. Because what he's literally doing, I don't even know how to describe it, which is why I'm going to
Right.
post a clip later. I'm going to post it as a reel. So literally, he turns his ass around, bends over, puts his ass right in front of the black man's face,
Yeah.
and spreads apart his butt cheeks and squeezes it in and out, open and closing his butt cheeks apart, and pretending that his butthole is talking to the black guy.
Ah.
It's disgusting and disturbing, and this is supposed to be funny. I didn't find it funny. Like he's acting like his black butthole is talking to. It's literally sexual harassment.
Yeah. I what I got out of it was that Jim Carrey was doing a WWE move, but
Mm,
I don't think Rikishi did wrestling in the '90s. He Rikishi did wrestling in the early stuff, but no, that's what I'm just getting at is that
okay.
Jim Carrey must have imitated what is called the stank face, where you have a wrestler pull out
Mm.
his butt cheeks and just ram it all over the opponent's face.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. He didn't ram it all over, but it
No,
was yeah, yeah. But it was he was still in his face. So and and then he faces no consequences, right? No accountability. Of course, the black man says, you know, stop it or like, come on, man. But it's
yeah,
like even him in the movie is acting like, oh, it's just like, uh, it's bad, but it's like a harmless joke, right? It's
right,
like a harmless annoyance. It's like a minor annoyance. So it tones it down. So this goes back to my point about this happened in the movie because the script writers wanted it to happen. they wanted a scene where a black male cop is sexually harassed by a white man and he gets away with it, right?
Yeah.
They wanted that scene.
You also have to realize the 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 decades too that this was acceptable. Because if this
Hmm.
if this had happened in today's generation, oh, a lot of people be pissed and talking.
Exactly. That's what I said too earlier. I
Yeah.
said that would not fly today.
No.
And this is just 30 years ago. So it goes to show like this would not fly today, true, but this was only 30 years ago. This is in my lifetime. I was a
Yeah.
14-year-old at the time or a 13-year-old during that time, right?
Were Were you living in the United States or were you still living
No, I
in
was
Maine?
living in Myanmar. I had never seen that movie until last week. So I was still,
Ah,
I didn't grow up watching that. But
I know.
the, the teenagers who grew up watching that movie, as well as the 20-year-olds, right? They're
Yeah.
now in their 40s, like I am, or if they were 20 in their 20s at the time, they're now in their 50s, which means they're now in positions of power, especially if they're white.
Yeah.
And they grew up watching these kinds of movies, right? So what does that tell me about, or tell you about the system that we live in? That these people who grew up watching these movies, who were brainwashed by these movies, how are they going to treat me as a brown person,
r-
right? That is why I always fight against propaganda and pop culture
Yeah.
because I feel like by the time something becomes law, it's already too late.
Yeah.
That's why I don't believe in like, writing to your senators or your reps, uh, or even in voting, is, dude, it's already too late. By the time you have to do that, it's done. Like,
Yeah. That's that's
like,
why I that's why I don't vote even
mm-hmm,
because so I would so so when it came to voting for George W. Bush, I couldn't because I was a teenager. When
mm-hmm,
Obama came, I could have voted, but there were some regulations. But when Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton, I almost said Dove, but when Hillary Clinton and Trump were battling for position, it felt like peer pressure of voting for. But you had to be wise who you voted for. Otherwise, you
mm-hmm,
were a traitor no matter what. So it's like,
mm-hmm,
no, if this is how voting is, fuck voting.
mm-hmm. Yeah,
But
exactly. Yeah,
but I'm telling you, and you heard me said this, that evil motherfucker Trump, he
yeah.
almost. Yep,
You almost got you.
yep. Um, have you seen the live version of George of the Jungle with Brandon Fraser?
No, I have. I've only seen two movies with Brendan Fraser. There's Still Breathing, and there's also Blast from the Past.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've only seen those two movies with him.
Well, his biggest hit after Blast and Pass, and I think George of the Jungle was The Mummy.
Oh, well, he was in The Mummy? I didn't know that.
Well,
Yeah.
he was in the 1990s remake Mummy. Yeah,
Oh, because I thought he's usually mostly a rom-com actor. Oh,
yeah.
yeah. Okay, that's
To me
interesting.
personally, I love The Mummy, even if it's not accurate or whatnot. I love The
Hmm.
Mummy because one, it has a different anthology, it has a different story of a different culture instead of Greek, Norse, and all that.
Hmm.
And personally, I just love the villain Imhotep, especially his
Mm.
damn name. So
Jaws of the Jungle. Oh, that's kind of like a Tarzan movie, right? Like a Tarzan
um,
remake, right?
it's a parody to Tarzan.
Oh, okay,
So
yeah.
so okay, so think of it this way: think of Tarzan having a long lost brother, but the brother is more like a special needs. I hate to use this word. Actually, I can use this word because because I have it. But think
Yeah.
of think of Tarzan having a little retarded brother.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Uh, okay. So he was in the Mummy. He was in the Whale. The Mummy Returns. The
yeah.
Whale was 2022. That's very recent. And then he was in Rental Family, 2025, and he's in Pressure, 2026. So the
He
guy's still acting. Wow.
so he was. Damn it! What was the name of that movie that turned into a book? Uh, Journey Journey to the Center Earth. So
Oh,
Journey to the Center Earth was his last movie, and then and he was gonna do one called something with Island, the Big Island, but unfortunately, The Rock betrayed him and
oh,
took
okay.
all the glory. So that's why he hasn't been acting for 3 years. His his combat movie was The Whale.
Yeah, that was 2022. So his last movie was Journey to the Center of the Earth, and also The Mummy that came out the same year,
Yeah,
2008.
two
So he
months
stopped acting for 14 years apparently, right? And then he
because of
came
the
back because of The Rock. And
yeah.
then the comeback was 2022, The Whale. And then he was in another movie, uh, Rental Family, 2025. And this year he was in Pressure, 2026. Uh, so it's a war movie. So
Yeah,
I haven't.
sorry. When I found out The Rock, uh, when I found out that he and The Rock had a breakout, I couldn't believe it about The Rock because I was like, well, The Rock would never have done that. But
Hmm.
The Rock had caused a lot of things. But now my breaking point with The Rock actually ended in a wrestling event called Elimination Chamber because
Mm.
so the following year he was he was actually he was actually having a battle with a wrestler named Cody Rhodes because Cody Rhodes said something about his family, which was Samoan. Oh, wait, yeah, Samoan. And The Rock came and
Hmm.
like, "Oh, you did not just talk shit about Samoan." So what was funny is that at the end of WrestleMania, he lost, but then somehow afterwards, he and Cody were friends, and then he come up to Cody's like, "Hey, now that you're champion, I want you to do me a favor. I want you to be my champion, not theirs." And then he said
Uh,
this, and then he said this stupid line, which I'm sure he stole from Mortal Kombat, but he said this, "Hey, give me a decision because your soul is mine." That that
the
what
Rock said that.
Yeah, that's what pissed me off. And I don't care if it was scripted or not. That made me not like The Rock, and
Oh, okay.
that made me quit watching wrestling.
Oh, this was during wrestling. So
Yeah.
Brandon Frazier was also in the ring with The Rock.
Oh no! He was
Oh,
never in the ring. He
oh,
Brandon Fraser might have made a few appearances in wrestling.
oh. So why did The Rock say that to Brandon? That's weird.
No, he didn't say that to Brandon. He said that to a wrestler named Cody Rhodes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So what does it have to do with Brandon Frazier?
No, I'm telling you that when The Rock betrayed Brandon Fraser and Fast and Furious, I was totally biased on The Rock. That's
Oh,
why
it's only when he said that to Cody. So that was your
final I
breaking,
was
your
like,
final straw, your last straw. That was your
yeah,
breaking point. Like, okay, yeah. You're like, I draw the line at this.
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And
Uh,
this and despite what I'm hearing that he did good for some people, it's like, okay, you might have done so good, but you still made yourself sound like the fucking devil when you said your
yeah,
soul.
exactly. Yeah. So Pressure is this, it's a new movie, 2026. and Brendan Fraser plays President Eisenhower. So he's playing a pretty prestigious role. So his comeback is great for him. Like
Yep.
it's a huge comeback, like
Yeah,
so.
they're
Uh,
also planning they're also planning to make a mummy movie,
oh,
but yeah, they're redoing the tomb of the emperor, because they still
hmm
want to keep it to the Egyptian side, where they now
mm,
have to face Anubis.
oh, okay,
Yeah.
yeah,
Either way, I'm excited, and if the actor who played the high priest Imhotep comes, I'll be
hmm
like this. Fuck yeah, bring Imhotep.
hmm So Pressure is a war movie. It is set 3 days before D-Day, before the invasion of Normandy, and it's 72 hours. So it's like the whole movie takes place over 72 hours. So it's a
Yeah,
very tight movie. So there's a similar movie that's just came out also this year, just a few days ago. Actually 2 days ago, called The Brink of War, which is set in 1986, and it's also based on a true story where it's apparently President Reagan and uh, Gorbachev, I think, the president of Russia, they had a
yeah,
secret meeting in Iceland in 1986, and it's about ending nuclear weapons. But
yeah,
instead of ending nuclear weapons, they almost got into a nuclear war. Uh,
yeah. I
so
got
I
you.
didn't know this history, so that's interesting. So I want to watch those two movies at some point. I haven't gone to the theater in I think over 2 years, so because I don't see anything good. So, but anyways, going back to Jim Carrey movies, the next movie that I watched was The Mask, which was the second movie that came out. And The Mask, the brainwashing is more subtle, but it's a movie where this guy robs a bank, and he's the hero of the movie. You're supposed to root for him, you know. I mean, he's a hero, but he's also kind of an anti-hero. But he's the protagonist, right?
Yeah,
And so subconsciously, your mind wants to root for the protagonist. And so that's that's the psychological programming right there, where just because he's a white guy, and just because, oh, and you're also supposed to pity him, just because he's not even poor, he's like middle class, right?
yeah,
But he gets rejected by a girl in the beginning of the movie, and then his male coworker, his homie, I guess, is like, "Oh, let me invite you to the club," right? Uh,
yeah,
and then so he takes him to the club, but right at the club, his friend like gets inside with a bunch of women, but the bouncer doesn't let him in, and he gets like, and he tries to force himself in, and he gets beaten up and kicked out, and you know, uh, basically thrown into the road. And then there's this other girl that he has a crush on, uh, who's actually secretly working for the mob, right?
yeah,
She sees him and he gets so embarrassed that he had just been, kicked out and his clothes are in tatters. And then this beat up car comes, the valet comes back with his beat up car because his real car was in the repair shop, and the repair shop guys were like, oh, we're going to give you a loaner car. And the loaner car is a totally ridiculous beat up car. So he comes back with that, which is even more embarrassing for him, right? And so that's the setup for the movie. So now you were supposed to pity him, right? So that when he ends up finding the mask, right,
yep,
in the water, uh, which he got into the water because he thought he was trying to save a drowning man, but there was no actual man. It was just a bunch of trash that looked like a man because the
yep,
mask was on top, and that's how he discovers the mask. Anyway, one night he ends up wearing the mask and he gains these powers. And and what does he do when he gains these powers? the first thing he does is robs the bank.
You you know you know whose powers it is that he has, right?
Is Loki, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. That's how they justify it too, right? Because uh and according to the movie, right, the movie contradicts itself because according to the movie, the mask amplifies who you already are, right?
Yep.
So if you, the first thing you do is rob a bank, and why do you do it? Just so that you can have enough money to rent a huge ass limousine so that you can enter the club.
Yep.
For
Just
the
to be a
most
somebody.
shallow, just to impress a girl, right? Or a
Yep.
woman. Uh, for the most shallow reasons, not to help the poor, not to have world peace, he robs the bank for that reason.
Yep.
And yet you have these two white women falling in love with him because they see that underneath all that, he's actually a nice guy.
Mm.
But the movie contradicts itself because according to the theory of the mask, you gain these superpowers because it amplifies who you already are. And the
Yep.
first thing you do is rob a bank. And yet the white women, all they see is, oh, deep down you're actually a nice guy, even though you keep robbing banks and doing all this nasty shit. Right.
Yep.
And but that perpetuates what happens in real life too. White women justifies white men no matter what they do. Like
Exactly.
there was a white woman in the 80s, there was a serial killer, I forgot his name, but this white woman married him in jail. Like even after he was convicted, he was like, I don't believe that he's a serial rapist and a serial killer. I still love him. And he married him in jail and was married to him for 5 years, at least 5 to 10 years. And I think she even had a baby with him. And only when he was like, and he was even put on death row, and he still was married to him. And only when he was like really like close to like his execution date, that's when she divorced him, when she finally gave up, right?
Yeah.
So that's the type of attitude white women have that is reflected in the movie where they will always justify their white guys no matter what they do.
Yep. Take going back to the mask.
Hmm.
Take um take the mobster for example.
Hmm.
When when Jim Carrey's when Jim Carrey's character impressed the mobster's girlfriend, oh, she's
Hmm.
in love with him, but he's a jealous a-hole. But here's the twist. He goes to the girl that also has a crush on Jim Carrey's character and
Hmm.
promise her, hey, I'll get you out of this bullshit of a life. And then
Hmm.
and then she actually believes his ass. So yes,
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. And and this guy is the guy that we're supposed to root for, right? Like it's it's already, and then like only like after all of that, all the bullshit that happened in the movie, you know, he finally like gives up the mask and throws it into the ocean because why? Not because he suddenly had a huge realization or anything like that. No, it's because finally he gets the girl that he wants. The girl is like, oh, I see who you are even without your mask. You don't need it. Again, for the most shallow reasons. And
yep,
then the mask is seen, this ancient relic, right, is seen as something dangerous at best. So again, it's demonizing ancient cultures, right?
yep,
In this case, it's Norse culture, the Viking culture, right?
yep,
And and it's implying that you shouldn't embrace culture. At best, it's dangerous, and that you should just throw it away. That's the message you're getting. So instead of like, if he was actually a real nice guy or a good person, right, or had any shroud of integrity, what he should have done was he should have returned the mask to the Norwegians, right,
yep,
and be like, okay, I don't understand what this is. You guys can make better use of it. And he would have given it to the actual culture. But instead, he has such a superiority complex. He thinks he knows better than the culture is from and be like, oh, it's too dangerous for anybody. I'm going to throw it into the ocean. That's literally white supremacy, you know.
Yeah. But
Like,
there's a twist. He
mm-hmm,
throws it away, but temporarily he's like, maybe I'll just hang on to the motherfucker. And then
mm-hmm.
sadly they make a sequel of it, and then that's when he gives up the damn mask. But I don't
Wait,
recommend watching.
there's a sequel? Is it with Jim Carrey too, or another
No,
actor?
no, different character.
I thought so because even at the end of the mask, the black guy, the black coworker, he jumps in the ocean to try to get the mask.
Yeah. Um, unless you've seen it, I'm already gonna tell you don't even watch it because a lot of people they thought they were hyped for that, but it turned out to be just like the Star Wars sequels of the two movies. It turned out to be
Oh, it's
trash.
called The Son of the Mask, right?
Yeah, but a lot of people said that don't bother watching it. It doesn't have the same hype energy as the first mask.
Yeah, because it doesn't work without Jim Carrey. The reason why Jim Carrey gets away with it, besides all the the white supremacy and people you know justified uh, if a white guy, like a black guy, could not have gotten away with that movie. But besides all of that, I think even with white men, like no other white guy could have played that role because Jim Carrey there's something about his physical comedy, the faces that he makes and the gestures that he makes, like only he can get away with that. Like,
Yeah, sorry about that.
yeah, it's all right. Uh, and it's 2005, so this is like 11 years after The Mask came out. So that means that they were just it's just like a money maker. It's just greedy. They just wanted to build on the nostalgia and be like, okay, maybe uh, if we remake it with, maybe, the older generation will, watch it just for the nostalgia. And then maybe if we're lucky, we'll get a new audience, right? That's the,
Yeah,
uh,
but
yeah.
the sad part about that is just so
Hmm.
that you get the same nostalgia energy of the old movies that they grew up with, but when they want to try and reboot it or make sequels, then it's like, okay, we just shit all over the money for no reason. But at least we're
Exactly. It's like when they made the Matrix 4, like, you don't need another Matrix movie. Like
no.
it's like 30 years later, they make another one that's literally just to make money. Like,
Me, me and a few friends of mine, we were actually pissed about them remaking Red Dawn because instead of dealing with the whole Russia, America, now we decided, hey, let's throw North Korea, but we still get cameo of Russians. And it's like,
hmm,
what's the fucking point? Were you guys trying to piss North Korea off? Were you guys trying to start World War III with them?
yep.
Motherfucker.
This is 2012. The original movie was 1984, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And that
Red
was,
Dawn. Yeah.
yeah, for the 81, that was the scenario of, hey, what if another superpower invaded?
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, there's another one that was with a comedy movie with in set in North Korea that is
Oh,
even
yeah,
worse.
that
They
interview.
that would have really pissed North Korea off. Like, I forgot the name of this. There were these,
No,
I think with
interview.
Seth Rogen, right?
Yeah, interview. James Franco.
Interview. Yeah, James Franco. Yeah.
And actually it almost did work because North Korea was ready to launch missiles, and then I don't know if it was on that year or the
Hmm.
following years, but apparently Hawaii got like this. got like this emergency threat alert
Mm-hmm.
going that hey, a missile's gonna come and destroy Hawaii. Everyone's all panicking, but one guy in a hotel was still doing his job. It's like, yeah, I don't give a fuck. I still got a job to do.
This was in the movie?
No, this was in real life.
Oh. Oh yeah, I remember that. This was just a few years ago, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, but they were all saying that because of that interview that was a retaliation of North Korea.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the interview came out 2014, so just 2 years after Red Dawn. So it sounds like it's like almost back to back. So it sounds like they really were trying to piss off North Korea, you
Mm-hmm.
know? And this is during the Obama years, so that's really interesting that they were doing that. You know, it's almost like they wanted Obama to get into trouble, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I'll tell you this. So unlike Obama, and I hate to say this, but Donald Trump actually talked to the North Korean leader and was cool with him. Made some sort of temporary peace thing, which is
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a mixed bag, right? Because he also called him Rocket Man and
yeah,
insulted him and also called him fat, basically. Uh,
yep,
in
saying
fact, I think he called him fat to his face. Like,
yep,
he's a character, this guy, Trump.
yeah. I'll
It's
I'll
like
be
he should
honest.
have been a comedian, but he's the president, you know?
Actually, he should never have just he should never touched any of those. But
Yeah.
you know, despite him being the worst president, I do have to give him some props. I do have to give him some respect of some things he did.
Hmm.
Because unlike unlike Bush or Obama or the presidents before Trump, he actually went to North Korea and made like some sort of side deal.
Hmm.
None
Yeah.
of the other presidents would have done that.
Hmm. Yeah. Um, yeah, that's all I got for today. I have like, since I bought a bunch of DVDs, I think that's what I'm gonna start doing for these episodes in the next few weeks. Like, go through my DVDs and start analyzing movies. Uh, have you seen My Cousin Vinny?
I have actually. And like I said, I was going through the kid that did the Karate Kid. I was
Hmm.
surprised it was in third. I was not impressed with that movie, to be honest.
I remember liking it, so I'm gonna watch it again because I watched it like 10 years ago. So, and I've
Well,
seen clips, again and again over the years on
well, it
YouTube. But I want to see if I would still like it if I watch it again.
it has one of my worst favorite actors in there, Joe Pesci.
Oh,
I
Joe Pesci, yeah. And
I
then
cannot
and
stand him.
then it has the other guy, what's the funny guy? Robert De Niro is in it, right? Not no,
No,
not no.
no, you're thinking of God. You're thinking of Goodfellas.
Oh yeah, Goodfellas. Who's the guy that plays the lawyer? That's Joe Pesci?
Yeah, that's Joe Pesci.
Oh, okay, okay. You don't like him?
So, so long story short, I I watched the Goodfellas a few times, and
Okay.
the scene where the main characters where the main act where the main actor's character talks to Joe Pesci's
Oh, he
character.
was in Goodfellas also. Okay, they both were, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um.
Okay.
Well, anyway, I don't know who the I know it's Ray. Something. Anyway, when the
Mm-hmm.
main character was talking to Joe Pesci's character, it's like, "Hey, you're a funny guy," and Joe Pesci's character is like, "How am I funny? No, no, describe how I'm funny. Do I amuse you?" That part
Hmm.
just that part just made me not like him,
Oh, okay.
and and I found out that that's an Italian thing too, because
Mm-hmm.
you would say something out of context or character, and then Italian would be like, "What do you mean by that? How am I so and so?" So yeah.
Okay. Okay, and then there's also a romantic comedy I had never watched before. It's called The Truth About Cats and Dogs. Have
Oh
you seen it?
no.
It's with Uma Thurman. Uh, so, so I'm gonna watch those two movies this week, and then that will be the topic. Uh, because yeah, I've never seen that movie before, so that would be interesting. Because you know how there's a lot of like in pop culture, there's a lot of talk about, oh, are you a dog person or a cat person, right? And there's
Mm,
also the whole like cat lady trope as well, right? Where women are disparaged, you know, the cat lady is used as an insult for women, right?
yeah,
Uh, so it will be interesting to watch a movie with that title, So that's what I'm gonna do. That will be the topic for next week. Like,
cool.
yeah. So
So,
anyways, that's a wrap. Like, yeah,
well, wait. Before you start,
yeah,
I just gotta say
yeah.
this. I'm actually gonna do a poetry thing on Tuesday, uh, 5 o'clock, and because Blood Blood Brother, Blood Brother, had his Grill Nation, and then
Mm-hmm.
he did a title. One was called Random Poetry. So, so I came in as an intro, and then he said,
Mm.
"You know what? You should do something with. You should do like a show version of that." I was like, "No, I'm gonna fucking do it." So
Oh,
Tuesday, Tuesday I'm gonna do a poetry thing. So,
at five,
yep, 5 o'clock
five,
Arizona.
the same as my time, right? Pacific.
Yeah,
Okay. So it's a poetry thing. It's not an open mic. It's like what is it?
no, it's it's a open mic, but it's also we can talk about our poetry, whatnot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
get some inside thoughts. Even though I'm
Okay.
not, even though I'm not very analytic about poetry.
Right. Yeah.
I'm I'm the type of dude that has that school syndrome of like someone were to perform a serious topic or a serious poem, I'll still be like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's shaking, it got me grooving, even if it's even if it's about someone's despair. So
Mm.
that type of guy, but I try my best.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's gonna be on the Grill Nation page.
No, it's
That's
gonna be on mine.
on your page. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
All right.
And then, are you the host, or will the Blood Brother Mike be co-hosting
No,
with
I'm
you?
I'm the host. I'm
You're the
gonna run
host.
the whole
You're
thing.
gonna
Yep.
you're gonna run the whole thing. Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Awesome. I'll be there. Like,
Yeah. But
cause.
I told a lot of people, our fellow poets, if they
Hmm.
can't make it, I can try to do a different time. So five
Okay.
o'clock will be an experimental.
Okay. Yeah. And
Uh,
then you're hoping this to be weekly.
oh, I'm gonna make it weekly no matter what. I'm just hoping it be okay for other people's time.
Okay. Okay. All right. Yeah.
Well,
All right. Cool.
uh,
Well, thank
well,
you so much.
you're welcome.
Is there anything else?
I was just gonna say,
Yeah.
so for some reason, Nick wanted to follow me
I thought
because
you blocked him. Like.
so I unblocked him because whenever I went on a live, whenever I would go on a live, I would somehow get kicked out, or I would have to wait until his presence not there in order for me to be online. So I unblocked him.
Oh.
But they decided to follow me. I was like, dude, I'm not even following you. And I'll tell you about something about him, but
Yeah. Okay.
I'll just tell you
You
that
can remove his follow. I mean.
I did.
Okay.
Yep.
All
But
right. Yeah.
I will get into more. I'll get into you of me and Nick. But until then,
Later. Okay. All right.
peace.
All right. Peace. Like. Yeah.
Shit. There we go.
All right. Peace, people. See you next Sunday.